Before we kick off today's show, we got to talk about our presenting sponsor, and of course, that is the great tasting, less filling Miller Lite, because winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer. A New Year is a perfect time for family, friends, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. Chief, tell me about that dependable flavor.
I mean, you know what you're getting every single time. That white can. Since the 70s, we're talking 50 years of the greatest tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Least filling, lessest.
I got you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Correcting. Dave, stat sheet Dave. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. Made from simple ingredients, Miller Lite is for people who love the taste of beer. Malted barley gives it the rich, balanced toffee note flavors and the golden color you know and love. And a clean finish means it's always refreshing and easy to drink. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/redline to find the delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. All right, bang, bang. Welcome to Redline Radio. I am Eddie.
Chief.
Dave.
I upstreamed you on that.
What happened?
He normally goes first.
Oh, he does.
I upstreamed him.
White Sox Dave. What a fucking, for someone that likes to complain about energy, Dave, that was the most pussy Dave I've ever heard.
What's going on with you?
Well,
He's distracted, of
You
course.
didn't give me any energy to start the show.
What do you mean?
We just did a nice Miller Lite ad.
Yeah.
You said good. Whatever you said to start the show.
I liked
This is Redline Radio. I am Eddie.
That's not what I did at all. Energy is not yelling. That's like, it's such a common misconception. Energy is not yelling.
Energy is focus.
Energy is animation.
When
Energy is concise precision cutting. That's
when did I
energy
say
is.
anything about how loud you were speaking?
But that's what you think it is.
No, it's not.
1,000%.
You said,
I
hello, this is
know.
Eddie, in like a monotone,
Hey, Dave.
just garbage ass fucking
Is it
intro.
possible that you just weren't paying attention?
No,
It's
very
1,000%.
possible.
I look
I
at
was
him right
ready
now.
to go. I was ready to go, and you cut me off.
He's looking at a wisdom panel ad on email
I
from
was just
Apple
deleting
emails.
it.
That's exactly what he's looking at.
No,
he's a
I have the
meatloaf.
Miller.
He's a meatloaf brain
You
idiot.
can't even. You don't even have your own material.
What? I was a good line, and now I'm using it. Thick skulled moron. How about that? Is that better?
That's mine.
All right. Well, I'm using your line.
With
Do you
meatloaf
have
in the
and
middle.
like at least I'm not unoriginal, as Will Hunting would say.
But then you just quoted somebody else. So that would make you unoriginal while citing something.
I wasn't the one trying to.
But you
make,
see the point, though. If you're
No,
like,
he
at
doesn't.
least I'm
no,
not,
I get
he
it. I
doesn't.
get it for
He
sure.
doesn't get it.
I get it for
he
sure.
might.
He doesn't.
But he didn't get it in
We're
real
talking
time.
about having spunk. There was zero spunk in anything I just did.
David, there's no insult in this world that's original anymore. You realize that?
Thick skulled moron was, and I used that.
I think someone's probably
someone
said that
definitely
before.
said
You've
that
heard it?
before. Yeah, of course.
You can't. Who?
I can't name his name, but you've heard it somewhere else, I'm sure.
No, I didn't. I just said it.
I mean, thick skull is like that's like a very common thing.
Yeah, a thick skulled moron.
I mean, they kind of go together.
But
Anyways.
have they gone together?
Regardless, I thought you'd be happier today because that's the big news off of the show, is that Tom Brady has retired.
You're such a fucking. People conflate this as I don't like Tom Brady,
What?
and I've since taken back my stance on him after what he did with the Bucks his first 2 years. Got a Super Bowl with them. The Patriots went down the shitter. They look like complete ass. I've revised my stance on saying I do think, and I think a large part of what makes Tom Brady the GOAT is his ability to stay on the football field. And I mean, athletes don't stay on the field for almost 25 years in any sport, let alone football, where your body breaks down in fucking two.
Yeah, but I think it's not like it's inarguable that you enjoy knocking over that glass of water and running away from the table with your Tom Brady take. You enjoy that.
That's
You enjoy that.
absolutely not true. It's
Well-
just like the Denzel thing. It's something that I'll stick to my guns on.
I don't think you enjoy that as much. I don't, because that's
Cons just annoys the fuck out of me because he's a thick skulled moron.
This is a way for you to prove that you've changed your stance on Tom Brady. You could say that I was right and you were wrong and then apologize. Because we were on opposite ends where I was always like, he's the best.
I disagree. You
You
say,
were like, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than him. And I say that that's not true.
but I think it is true. Like I thought it was true
Tom
forever.
Brady's not the GOAT then, according to you.
No, I
You
thought
think
it was true forever. What he did for the last 5-7 years of his career was incredible. At the age that he was at, you measure Super Bowls as if they're wins for a pitcher in baseball.
No, I don't.
It takes 56 dudes in a coaching staff to win a Super Bowl.
Wait a second. Then your whole thing. This is you just.
Where did I?
You just
no, I
trapped
didn't.
yourself.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
You're going to bring up Super Bowls with the Bucks.
No, nope. You said like, well, look at he got removed from the Patriots, and the Patriots are ass now. Did you not just say that? So maybe having the greatest quarterback, which was
you don't, but
keeping that,
but you're starting to argue hypotheticals now. I think that if Aaron Rodgers,
you said they removed him, the Patriots turned it ass as proof that Tom Brady was not just like some guy. Like you talked about, it was the system.
I never thought he was some fucking guy. That'd be beyond.
Just say that he's the best and that you were wrong. You were wrong about him.
I amend what I said, that I didn't think he was the greatest of all time prior to what he did in Tampa. And the longevity, it's incredible.
So the one Super Bowl in Tampa is worth more than the 6 in New England.
See, exactly what I'm saying. You're bringing up Super Bowls. I haven't said anything.
You just said what he did in Tampa. What did he do in Tampa?
He didn't break any records. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won a fucking Super Bowl.
What are we talking about here? Are you serious? Then you're bringing up Super Bowls.
You're bringing up Super Bowls.
You brought up Tampa Bay, and you were saying like basically the Tampa Bay one is worth more than the New England one.
I didn't say no. I didn't.
6 is worth less than 1.
I didn't. He also had.
This is crazy.
He had.
This is crazy.
He had the best defense in football the year that he won it with Tampa. Did he not?
I don't remember.
It was statistically the best defense in football. Okay. You can go and look that up. He had Evans. He had a fucking awesome.
Yeah, he had good players around him.
Good players around him. Mm-hmm. If you put Tom Brady on the Jaguars or the Jets or some other, dumpster fire, the Bears even.
He thought about coming to the Bears.
Is he winning 7 Super Bowls?
If he started his career,
no, it's a yes or no question.
I am asking for clarification before I answer.
Yes.
He started his career at the Bears?
Or any of the other garbage organizations that I listed?
He certainly benefited from his surroundings, but then he also elevated the team around him.
I didn't say that he didn't.
Like you talk about those Patriots teams, like his best team.
And that's where I changed
which the
argument.
One that they didn't win. He was the best and most important player on that team for 20 years.
It had nothing to do with Randy Moss?
They didn't win a Super Bowl. You
said that he was the best player on that team that they didn't win. So the 18-1 season.
No.
He was the best player. It had nothing to do with him throwing it to the greatest receiver outside of Jerry Rice ever.
Mid-argument based on something you said. But, yeah, that year when he smashed all the records at that time. You don't think
Aaron Rodgers would have done that too?
He hasn't.
The Bucks had the number 8 defense that year in 2020.
Number 8.
In points allowed.
Okay.
In points allowed. It was an awesome defense, though. Everybody remembers
top 10 defense. Not quite number 1, but top 10.
I mean, it was right there. They were very close to being top 5. So.
Yeah, but some of that you could say, well, maybe it's ball possession. And maybe it's teams are playing from behind, so they have to throw, so it's more predictable. Like, it's all connected. It's all connected.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying that
I just don't know why you like to diminish his accomplishments.
I'm not trying to, I don't like looking at Super Bowl wins as the end-all, be-all for what make. So, say the long snapper was on all 7. Is he the greatest fucking?
Might be the greatest long snapper ever. I don't know.
Because he was on that. Like, maybe, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Throw Patrick Manley on that team. Was he the greatest? I mean, he actually might be, because I don't remember one bad snap out of Patrick Manley ever in his entire career. But, like, that's why in the Super Bowls he lost, did he have any say in the outcome of why they lost those games?
Probably.
The helmet catch?
Yeah, but like they only scored 14 points in that game, right? Or 17.
So why didn't he will his team to victory in that Super Bowl?
He's a human being. He's not perfect, but that doesn't mean he's not the best ever.
But I've since changed that due to his longevity. And I have not one time you tried to shoehorn me into saying it. I hate the argument that Super Bowls are like the deciding factor on who's the greatest. It's as much of a team game, and coaches have as much influence on football more than any other sport. It's not like basketball where one player can make or break. Baseball player, one pitcher can shut you down. Hockey, I don't know. I'm not even going to speak on hockey because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But football,
he also touches the ball every single play.
No, he doesn't.
Basically.
No, he doesn't. He plays defense.
On offense?
He plays defense.
All right.
So, you need defense to win a Super Bowl, right?
What about him?
Exactly.
What about him having the most fourth quarter comebacks of all time?
Of course, he's going to, considering he played for 25 years. I have never one time said that Tom Brady is not good or that I think Tom Brady sucks. I said that I think he was in a perfect situation with Bill Belichick, an owner who was hell-bent on winning, and Bob Kraft, playing in a dog shit division for the majority of his career. He played the Dolphins, who've been horrible for 20 years until very recently. The Jets, who we all know the Jets are a dumpster fire. The Bills have been a dumpster fire. That's 6 games right there against dog shit. Who else is in that division? One more team.
That's it.
All right, so that's it. There's 6 games.
Colts for part of it at the beginning of his career.
That's right. But
they had Peyton Manning, and he beat them too. So I don't know why it's so hard for you to say that he's the greatest. It's just like
I just said he's the greatest ever, but not in.
Yeah, there are guys that have more physical attributes than him.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's backed off. But then it was weird when the Super Bowl for the Bucs.
He said the Super Bowl, and then I just was
said
echoing
what he did in Tampa made you change your opinion about
because
him.
he was lighting up the stat sheet as like a 43-year-old on a whole new team.
But he always, like, his best year came in the undefeated year where they didn't win. He lit up the stat sheet
Exactly.
that year.
And then if you want D4 lining up offsides on a play that he threw an interception on where the Chiefs would have just had to kneel it out after that. Not giving the ball to beast mode on the goal line. There's so many things outside of his control that were direct reasons why he either did or didn't win a Super Bowl, and it's just he's given every ounce of credit. And I don't think that should be the case in football. And people are like, nope, he won. He was a quarterback. It's like there's more nuance to that. It's not black and white. And people refuse to say that. So I'll dig my heels even more when people call me fucking dumb for saying that.
That's what it is. You like to dig your heels.
Because I feel strongly that I am correct, even if I know that most people don't, because they're lemmings. And that's just
you're a lemming who's walking against the lemmings, though. Like you're trapped by your own idea.
It's not true. You refuse to listen to what I'm saying. But
I've listened to you.
I've given you examples of very specific plays that have directly resulted in a win or loss in a Super Bowl that were outside of his control, that he had nothing to do with, that he could not control in any way.
Well, I don't think the same way you can't say, oh, it's all on one guy. I don't think you can boil it down an entire guy's career. The point is, the reason you remember those plays is because he was consistently awesome to put his team in position to have a memorable
he threw
play.
An interception on the play that
I'm saying, but he was good. I understand what you're saying, and you could talk about the fumble play against the Raiders in the snow. Like, he's had a lot of these memorable kind of hairline plays throughout his career. But the reason that you have so many memories of Tom Brady and not necessarily Aaron Rodgers or Roethlisberger or anybody else is because you analyze them so often, because he's always in the AFC or NFC championship for 20 years. And you can't say that about anybody else because he was better than everybody else consistently for longer.
All right, I will preface this by saying I didn't listen to the last 15 seconds. So against the Rams in 2019, no touchdowns and a pick. They won that game. Did they win it because of him or in spite of him? I think you could argue that it was in spite of him.
You should have listened to the last 15 seconds I said that. Because then
listen.
we can move on.
All right.
Shout out to the GOAT.
Now, do you think he's done?
Yeah, I think he's done.
Do you think it's over?
Yeah.
Did you see what's waiting for him?
10 for 375.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
and
so
he might need
that's
that
so
money.
Strange
the
to me,
FTX
dude.
money.
That's so strange to me. Like, I know they were handing out fucking big wads of cash because, Aikman and Buck got plucked to ESPN, and then
Romo
Amazon
got his big
happened,
deal.
and then Romo got his big deal. But dude, like Breeze didn't work out, Witten didn't work out. Like, who's to say Brady's going to be good at this thing? I'm not saying he's going to be bad. Like, he might be unbelievable. And if he's not good at that, maybe they do something creative with him, like the Manning cast. Maybe they do something like McAfee, although he's very different than what Pat is, and he's different than what Peyton is. But that's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of pressure. I don't know. But he is fucking Tom Brady.
I don't think that he'll like it. How about that? I think he'll be fucking bored with just sitting there talking about other people playing football. Like, I think he's not as natural on camera as Manning. Like, he's just not
Manning's
he's like,
awesome on camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and probably a better conversationalist too. But Brady, I think that he will get bored. Like, but it's like the bag is so big.
Well, I say this too. There also is an inherent risk of being so talented and so accomplished on the field and taking on the broadcast booth. Like, do you remember, I always think of this, do you remember the Utley slide?
Yeah.
Do you remember who was on that broadcast that day?
I assume it's Buck and somebody.
I was going to say Buck, yeah.
Cal Ripken Jr. was on the broadcast that day.
Really?
And I remember, like, I forgot exactly what he said, but I remember people were ripping Cal Ripken Jr. And it's like, listen, if Cal Ripken Jr. just rode off into the sunset, nobody ever heard from him again, he's a legend, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, the Iron Man.
Still is, though.
How he still is, for sure. But I remember in that time, like, of course, like, maybe I'm negating my point because people did forget.
Yeah.
But I did forget, clearly, so maybe not. But I remember in that time, everyone was shitting on Cal Ripken, like, what an idiot, like, you know, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he was trending, and, like, everyone's shitting on the Iron Man. I'm like, he didn't need this. This guy doesn't need to get the money. I forget what it was. I forget which side he was on.
Probably defending Chase
Yeah, I forget
Utley.
which side of the aisle he was on.
It's just a good hard slide.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what
I would hope so. It was a good hard slide.
Like, there is, like, I'm just saying there is
there's a downside.
There totally is.
Well, and I think another example of that would be Michael Jordan, where he goes into the ownership role and he had, you know, and he's involved as an executive, and like the best stories you hear about Jordan as an executive are when he takes these young players and then makes them play one-on-one and kicks their ass as a 50-year-old. Yeah. And like that's like what was it, Justice Winslow, the
Duke dude,
the Duke guy, and Jordan just like made him his bitch after practice one day, but he like they never do anything. The Hornets haven't done anything in 20 years as long as he's been there, and I think it does like a little bit tarnish that. You know, it's like he's Superman. No, but it's like,
think so. It's
but
Jordan,
like you could never say anything negative about Jordan when it came to basketball ever.
Yeah, but
now
you're
you
right.
can.
You're right.
Now he's
Jordan,
like he's not a good
people,
basketball executive. He can't build a
if
team.
you want, he drafted Kwame. Like, there's so many things.
Yeah. All
right, here you go. I just searched in Twitter. I typed in Cal Ripken, Chase Utley. It immediately routes you to October 10th, 2015. The tweets that show up, fuck Cal Ripken and fuck Chase Utley and fuck Cal Ripken again. My hate list, 1 Chase Utley, 2 Cal Ripken, 3 whatever, 4 the jabronis who agree with this. I hope Magic Johnson gives Cal Ripken and Chase Utley AIDS. Like, I'm like this is like, I'm telling you, like, people were like,
well, what side of the aisle was he on? Find that out first.
He was obviously on Utley's side.
Yeah. So so Dave said that,
and obviously we're speaking of the lowest of low here. People just fucking firing off Twitter in 2015.
I would say that this is one of those things where maybe we put a little bit too much weight on Twitter, because the vast majority of people who are probably would have stood up for Cal Ripken are people Cal Ripken's age who are not active on Twitter. So you have like people like Dave who are a little bit more, and myself who are a little bit more old school with sports and whatever. And all those guys are probably like, yeah, Cal's right. And then it's just like the people of today that are online being like, fuck this. And it just becomes like a quest to get up votes.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying is there is an inherent risk with going into something and just not riding off into the sunset as the greatest of all time, which is almost inarguable to most people.
How much is he worth without this deal?
I mean,
I think he had the divorce, which I don't know what
she was worth more than him. So
I know,
he might
but
have
like,
took money out.
But like, hey, like, listen, doesn't matter.
Well,
Tom Brady does not have to work again.
Yeah,
he is unlimited amount of money. If he wanted money, he could sign X endorsement tomorrow, and he could have more money.
Yeah,
he could do whatever. He's got 80 for Brady coming out today, which announcement, I think we will be going to the movies today.
The boys are going to see the gals.
Yeah, we will go see 80 for Brady today.
Tom's coming too.
Tom will be there. Lance will be there. Dave will be there. That's the only way it's going to happen. I mean, you two are both fucking flying frauds for not seeing the new Top Gun. So I'm going to have, it's up to me to drag you guys to the movies. You didn't see it in theaters, though.
Yeah, it was a little bit outside of my control. But
I'm
A nice Tom
sound.
Lay is a film student. Tom Cruise made a beautiful movie at the cinemas for us, and these guys just spit
I'm
in
a
his
little.
face.
So I saw it. I actually watched it twice. I attempted to watch it on an airplane, which was basically impossible on that little small screen. Then I watched it in a hotel room. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. The fact that that's nominated for Best Picture for the Oscars, Top Gun, what are we doing? What is going? That is not.
I read a lot of people saying that.
Not a Best Picture.
That's a VOD take.
What's VOD mean?
That's Chiefy Couch. That's at home. Like you watched it at home. Like you didn't get the theater experience.
Give him an award for cinematography or technology or whatever those fucking categories
Dude, he deserves a fucking nomination for what he did for the industry.
What did he do for the industry?
He held on to that movie for fucking 3 years and didn't release it so it could be released in the theaters.
Yeah. Right, and what happened? He made a fucking fortune. So I think he already got his reward for doing something, quote unquote, for the industry.
We just talked about on Dog Walk how we're going to live in a fucking dystopian world someday because of underpopulation.
Yeah.
And this guy's saving an industry. And you're like, fuck that.
Ed, I'm going to go ahead and say that's a little bit of a false equivalency there.
You're not caught up to speed then. You're ignorant. like per usual, Dave, you're ignorant.
Well, I mean, but you're also
what a shocker, Lance.
This guy, you know who? I think the Scientologist got to Ed.
Yeah,
I think they got to him.
I think Tom Cruise fucking did like all weirdo shit aside from Tom Cruise. I think.
Just put that stuff aside. Just put it aside.
In this moment, I'm putting it aside because he did a good thing, and I like fucking movie theaters. All right, so I'm dragging everyone to fucking 80 for Brady. I want to buy popcorn. They get the Raisinets.
Sour Patch Kids. That's my movie candy.
Okay. And we're going to go see 80 for Brady. We're going to review it.
I'll give him credit for one thing, though.
It's not out tonight.
Actually, here's a question on that.
It's out today, yes.
If the movie's as horrifically bad as I assume it'll be, like every single movie, aside from Space Jam, which was bad but in a kid's fun way, will that tarnish his legacy?
Can an Apple Watch track if you're laughing somehow? Like does your heart rate go up when you laugh?
I don't know.
Because Dave will come out and say he hates it, but if there's like a few funny moments in that movie, I want to be able to like check your vitals to be like, well, at 25 minutes into the movie, you were laughing.
What's our tech capability on this tomorrow? Do we know? Can we set up Dave with a Shia LaBeouf cam? Can we do that?
What's that?
Remember when he did that?
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf live streamed himself.
I fucking hate him though.
Well, he's pretty canceled.
Yeah, we could see if maybe there's a GoPro we could set up.
That would be unbelievable. So Shia LaBeouf, I think this was 2016.
Yeah. It's become like a meme now too. Like
yeah. He set up a camera and he live streamed himself watching every single one of his movies.
In a theater.
Yeah, in a theater. But it's like he's got a lot of movies, so he was in the movies for like 2 days straight. He didn't sleep. Like he was sleeping at times. Like he would I remember watching it at my old job. Like we would just check in on it, and he'd be like nodding off during like fucking, Disturbia or something. Mm-hmm. Probably not that one. That's probably a good one. You probably don't sleep during that one.
That's a good
one. A little jumpy. I think that's a pretty good movie.
I think it's a really.
I don't want to see this Tom Brady movie.
Well, we gotta go.
Doesn't matter.
We're going to pay respects to Tom Brady, to close this chapter of Dave's life with Tom Brady. We're going to go.
My chapter.
You didn't like that?
Feels like a punishment.
I mean, like when do we start talking about Mahomes being the greatest? Because Mahomes is
when he wins 7 Super Bowls.
See, this is exactly what I'm fucking talking about with you losers. You losers.
Maybe you'll like it, Dave. Maybe it won't be as bad of an experience as you think.
My honest, unabridged review.
Okay.
It's you know what? The one movie, I actually watched this movie recently again on a plane, which you can't watch this movie on a plane, but I've seen it so many times at this point it doesn't matter. But Inglourious Bastards is the one movie I saw in theaters. I was like, I didn't think that was that good. Now it's one of my favorite movies.
It's a great movie.
So I can change.
What do you think about watching movies on a plane that have just like unbelievable gratuitous violence? Which they scalp people in that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's offered.
Care.
What?
It's offered.
I know, but it's like
I have that.
what if you have like a
kidding me?
7-year-old sitting next to you?
I
This
wouldn't
guy's sitting in
have. I
15
wouldn't have
with a
watched
fucking
it.
blank expression with that
I
beanie
had-
on. He's not giving a fuck. He's not covering the screen. He's not pressing pause
They
when a
shouldn't
kid
offer
walks
it.
past the
Then.
aisle.
What's wrong with that?
Not a chance.
And
dude.
how often do you look at the other person's screen on a plane?
He's
I kind of do it a lot.
I glance at it.
Yeah.
He's calling a kid over like the Sixth Sense. Hey, come here. You want to see a dead body? You know, you want to see
That
this
part
shit?
freaks me the fuck out. in
I don't like
movie.
that scene
Yeah.
either. It's where
Yeah.
you see my dad keeps his gun. That was fucked up.
Yeah, and then his fucking
it's
brain
blown
matters
off.
like.
I don't like
blown
that
out.
part. That part creeped me out as a kid.
Can we talk about how shitty of movies he's made in his life?
He's got a new one coming out.
Does
Who?
he?
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan.
Shamalama Lama. What's it called?
I forget exactly, but Batista's in it. It looks pretty good.
The wrestler?
But, yeah,
I couldn't even tell
it
you.
looks
what
pretty
like.
good. But
He's just had like a little cold streak because he was
M.
like
Night Shyamalan?
Yeah,
Dude,
It's like a
I
15
watch
year
it
cold
every
streak.
time it's on TV. But have you guys seen The Happening?
No.
no, I never seen
Tom,
it.
it is the worst movie ever made.
What about?
But it's incredible.
But it's one of those. It's so bad you just have to watch it.
gotta watch
It is
you can't believe what you're watching with Mark
horribly
Wahlberg.
bad.
do you agree that it's bad, Tom? Or you?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like it's
okay.
like I don't get how that passed like any sort of
How
like,
did this
quality
make it
check.
anywhere?
Like,
Yeah.
like Mark Wahlberg's just not acting in it. Like there's quotes where he's just like,
And
Well,
there- oh my
some people
God.
would say that he
It's-
never acts. He only plays himself.
I think people like
Kinda.
Split, right? I think I've heard good. I didn't see it.
What about
but
Signs? I never
I
saw
thought
that
Signs
either.
was decent.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
I
pretty
thought
good.
Signs was
Never
decent.
saw that one.
It's too CGI for me. The aliens just
you need real looking aliens.
I mean better than that.
Okay.
People hated the last
It's
Airbender.
it's so blatantly fake that it's like Jurassic Park was made in '93. Those dinosaurs look real. You know, and this movie came out probably 10 years after that, and they
But
look
do you
like
know real dinosaurs had feathers though. So how real did those look?
shut up. And no, they didn't. A lot of them had scales.
Come on over here, kid.
Only some evolved into birds.
Let me show you a violent scene.
He's just getting under my skin so much today.
Who is?
Him.
He is?
I'm not fucking doing anything. To
Yeah,
you.
you are. You're
How?
You're
Well, let's-
you're poking me.
Let's pause it. Let's pause the tension and let's talk about ChevyDriveChicago.com.
Chief, are you gonna get a Chevy? Finally,
I
please.
I mean, when we go to the new office, I'm going to need a car, and I will be getting a Chevy.
Yeah, your local Chevy dealer is here for you. And there's no better way to kick off your year than with a brand new Chevy to drive around in. ChevyDriveChicago.com can help you pick out your new ride and find a dealer near you to order from. Don't forget to mark your calendars as well. The 2023 Chicago Auto Show is around the corner. It's here. I mean, it's February 2nd, so
Yep.
it's here. It's in February. It's at the McCormick Place, and all your favorite Chevys will be there. Search Chicago Auto Show to learn more. I mean, go to ChevyDriveChicago.com and just check out that whole fleet.
Yeah.
You got a lot of great stuff.
What kind of Chevy are you gonna get?
Well, I tried to win a truck. I lost. I entered a raffle where it was like a 1973 like Chevy like pickup truck. I can't remember. I'm not like the biggest car guy, so I can't. But it was like sweet, and it was like that's what I want. And so the $50 raffle, like if you win, you get the truck. If you don't, the prize, the money goes to Toys for Tots. So I'm like either.
Oh,
you
there
know,
you go.
yeah,
You win anyways.
but I still feel like I lost because I didn't get that truck. So that's what I would love. But I'm honestly like I don't think I feel like I can only be an old pickup truck guy. If I tried to be like a off the lot, like oh I got a new pickup truck, I feel like I would look like a fucking douchebag.
No, I don't think so at all.
How
I would love to be a truck guy.
I feel like you
Sydney's
could
truck,
do it.
where it's
You
like
could
got
be a
beat
truck.
up, but it's
How would it-
character. Not in the city, you can't.
Yes, you could, Dave. I mean, like
Have you seen my alley? I don't think I could get Sydney Wells'
100% you
pickup
could.
truck into my alley.
100% you could.
I mean, you could, but it would not be fun to have to
Yeah.
find parking, and it would be a pain in the ass.
100% you could.
That's why I stick with the Impala personally.
The Impala, that was my grandpa's car.
Yep.
He got Impala after Impala.
You want to know another beef I got about
Whatever,
Chief?
wherever you leave, wherever you live, whatever kind of car you need, Chevy has something for you.
Yeah,
though.
it's
And
got
just
you.
check 'em
And
out at
in the meantime, if you need
ChevyDriveChicago.com.
just general routine maintenance, tires rotated, oil change, you just go to ChevyDriveChicago.com. You can pop in your zip code and find the nearest Chicagoland Chevy dealer near you.
All right, well now let's continue with your airing of grievances.
Chief likes to rip on me for telling the same stories a lot. Chief does it every bit as bad, probably worse than I do.
Would you agree with that?
no,
He does it
I would not.
so
Where
much,
did this come
especially because we've heard the grandpa story.
Well, it's part of the ad.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah, I know. I've said that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
And
poor
that
example,
does not
but
count for.
he does like
ad
to
read.
do
And
that.
what?
Don't think it counts for an ad read.
Yeah, and it was not a story. It was like a little 3-second comment.
Yeah.
It has been a story in the past, though.
I didn't tell it this time.
Anything on the NFL playoffs? I mean, that fucking Eagles game was just a disaster. No quarterbacks.
I stopped watching it at like halftime.
A disaster.
Yeah.
I know that we'll probably get more into a Super Bowl preview next week. Obviously, the Bengals game feel terrible for Asai.
Yeah.
A horrible situation. But I don't know. Like
Watching that made me feel very good about the Bears for next year. I'll say that. That NFC, and I pulled up the Eagles schedule, and I was like kind of trolling people during the game. They didn't play anybody. They put their wins include wins over the teams picking 1 through 4 in the draft. They beat fucking Daniel Jones in the playoffs. They beat Josh Johnson in the playoffs. They have literally not played anybody this entire year. Commanders, like nobody good.
so do you think that they're Fugazi?
I'm gonna bet the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm gonna bet the Chiefs.
They're getting a point and a half. That actually kind of surprises me.
Who is getting a point now?
The Chiefs are.
Yeah.
Via Barstool Sportsbook.
I mean, we said it at the thing. There was way too many people were steaming the Bengals.
Yeah, but it was like
It was absurd.
right, and then I ended up.
And the Bengals are good.
They are
nothing-
It was a 3-point game on the road.
Yeah.
And I ended up betting the Chiefs as we approached kickoff. So that like I swung on that, and I actually swung to the Eagles too. But it was, I just don't think the NFC is like. I'm completely unimpressed with that entire conference where it's like it feels like if you have a good offseason, we used to say like 9-7, something like that, or 10-7, I guess now. Like that should be like the minimum what the Bears are looking to do next year. If they have the type of offseason that we hope, they should be able to be very competitive with just about every team in that league because it stinks, including the Eagles, except for their offensive line.
No, the Eagles are good.
They got a good defensive line and a good offensive line.
No, dude,
They got a few weapons on the outside,
Yeah, that's a little
too,
too disrespectful. Like
And
that's
a good run game.
Like I could meet you halfway
That's
and be
offensive
like,
line.
all right, maybe some of the opponents they've played were a little suspect, but I still think the
Where'd they
Eagles
go?
are fucking
And
good.
I don't think this Eagles team record and playoff domination thus far aside is the best NFC team to come out in. I mean, I think the NFC was fucking awful this year.
Yeah, but I still think they're very well rounded.
Yeah, they're a good
I
team.
said.
Obviously, they're a great team.
Yeah.
They have best record in football, I think, right?
But I
Tied with the
might
Chiefs.
like move that line on our book to be like Chiefs.
I like the
minus
Chiefs.
7. Like I think the Chiefs are going to put up points on them. I do. You disagree?
No, I mean, I think I like the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
Just for the soul's sake that I would like to see first. I mean, it's still very early. Obviously, we still got a week. I'd like to see where a lot of the action is going before I kind of lean one way or the other. But
Let's check Vegas Insider.
and like maybe people are going to lean into the schedule thing with the Eagles so much where people are going
That's true,
to
too.
where more money is going to come in on the
Yeah,
Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I think that's the kind of route I'm going to go on because I don't know. I think you
little too
disrespected Philly a little too much.
I'm sure I'll hear about it, but I when you kind of stop and look, it was like they had the late season loss to Saints when it was Gardner Minshew, but it was like I don't know. When we watched them play the Bears late in the year, I didn't think they were overly impressive against the Bears, who were in tank mode, and it was just like every time I tuned in, it was like, yeah, this is a good team, not a great team, it was just they were kind of they beat, credit to them, beat who's on your schedule, but it's not like they're going through like the 90s Cowboys or it's not like when we bring it back to Brady, it wasn't like a Brady Manning Colts thing. Like it was kind of paved road for him, kind of going downhill.
Listen, can we bring the Super Bowl question back one more time then? Because when it comes to that, everyone was like, I shouldn't say everyone, but there were a lot of people crowning Burrow over Mahomes. I haven't thought that. I've still had Mahomes over Burrow the whole time.
Mahomes is the best quarterback in football.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And he wasn't
going to win the
wasn't,
MVP again.
wasn't fully healthy. But like at some point it is like, well, you have to beat him, and that was kind of the discussion with Brady and Manning back in the day. Like, Well, Manning he might be better, but he has to win
Yes.
against head-to-head against Tom Brady. Like, it matters. And so now Mahomes has done that. And I think both those guys are going to be around. Like, that's going to be the battle. And Allen but this Super Bowl, it kind of reminds me of, like, you guys might be too young for this, but when I was first like a little kid and it was 49ers and Cowboys for the 90s, it was like, well, whoever won that game is going to win the Super Bowl. And I kind of feel like that about this Chiefs-Bengals game, where it was like, I think I would like either one of those AFC teams over the Eagles.
Do the Chiefs being 7-12 against the spread this year, does that give you any pause? Eagles have been they're 10-9 against the spread. The Eagles are
10-9.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't give me. I think right now, I think the way that I think the Chiefs have it kind of rolling, and they got a good pass rush too. Like, their
2-week layoff definitely helps with the whole ankle thing. He was not moving like at all,
except for when he needed to.
Right,
the one play, and then they got the extra penalty on top of it. But it was like, he's like, all right, I gotta pick this up right now, and he did it. And then here's another free 15 yards, and go make a cake field goal.
Do you guys like any props?
I will. I always get heavy into props, and this is
next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
But
I remember a couple years ago when you nailed that overtime prop, and I didn't bet it, and to this day it still bothers me.
Yeah, because that was the first time there was ever an overtime. That was the Patriots Falcons one.
Yeah, you called it, and I remember thinking to myself, we were on what was it, Joe Ostrowski or something,
and
670 and Sam P.
Yeah,
and we were going. This is like maybe Friday night before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was late. It was like 8, 9 p.m. beyond drive time radio. It was like late night radio at this point. And she was like, I love this prop. And I'm like, that honestly makes sense right now. And I didn't take it. And it was a huge long shot.
No, it
was it like plus 10 or not 1,000?
No, it was like 450 or something like that.
Okay.
Like 500. Something like that. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice payout, and it was like, so when you're sitting there at halftime and they're down like 4 scores and you're just waiting, then Brady has that comeback, and Brady by himself, just Brady, he just orchestrated that whole thing. So yeah, it was nice. But I love the props, and like, I don't really gamble on college basketball until March Madness. I'm kind of done with my hockey betting until the playoffs, I would say. This is it. Like, this is like, I empty the chamber for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's never too early to start looking at the Barstool Sportsbook. Barstool exclusives are out. Picks and parlays from Big Cat, El Prez, and other personalities to follow or fade. There's tons of ways to bet on the Barstool Sportsbook. Daily odds boost. There's live in-game bets. Move the line with teasers and whatnot. You have parlays. There's the Parlay Plus, obviously, and you could bet within the same games across sports with those Parlay Pluses. It's easy to navigate and use. There's data and content to keep you informed. It's easy and secure registration, and there are more ways to deposit and withdraw. Download today and create an account. $1,000 new player bonus is there for you. If your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. You must be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Barstool Sportsbook. Go check it out if you have not already. And if you have, make sure you keep playing with us. Moving along here. Just a quick note. I just touched on it. I don't know. The Warren Sapp kind of stoking the flames with the trading Justin Fields.
Obviously, it's Warren Sapp, but what the fuck does he know? Come on.
It felt like a limo driver told him kind of thing, or like like it just
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So I don't think that there's any chance that they move on from Fields.
I think I can't say. I think you got to put it at like 5%. But I mean, semantics.
I get. We've talked about this 100. I don't like any of those quarterbacks. I don't like any of those quarterbacks. So if they move on from Justin Fields, you better be like the next
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and then he's not. It's not a Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Cam Newton draft at the top. It's just not. I wish it was, because even then you could still trade that pick or do whatever you want or trade Fields. But they just don't have there's not a home run.
I'll say this:
kind of guy.
If I'm Ryan Poles, I am at every single. I don't care if he's doing the bench press. Bryce Young, I'm at every single one of his workouts, just watching him like a fucking hawk and just making people think from other organizations, maybe they will trade Fields and take the guy that we want. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, but dude, at this point, it's like
Yeah, they're smoked, and then eventually someone's gonna have to call your bluff.
Like it's kind of you're bluffing. I'm trying to think of a good expression, but it's just
gamesmanship.
It's not. But who are you bluffing?
Right.
Like, no one's gonna. People are gonna see you bluffing from.
I don't know, man.
I think you're better off with the bluff being like, look at. Carolina just offered us like 4 first-round picks.
Yes,
well, they're going to be doing that stuff anyways.
That's the way you do
Yeah.
it. That's the way you do it. You spot the sucker like someone spotted Ryan Pace years ago.
Who do we think is the
John
sucker?
Lynch?
I don't know.
The fucking former
He spotted Pace, but
minor leagues pitcher safety.
so yeah, like I said in the blog, I said it on a video. Like I pay no mind to that.
Yeah.
And I still think it's crazy. Like the best analogy I said, it's like having a lottery ticket and like Fields right now is we scratched off like a couple matching numbers, and like we have numbers to go. So it's like, all right, we're gonna keep scratching and trading that in for a brand new ticket.
Yeah,
like you just wouldn't do that.
That's a good analogy.
You
I
just
like that
wouldn't do
analogy.
that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that. So I think it's dumb. I'm interested in this, Dave, from you. What did you think of the to switch into baseball? What did you think of the Athletic giving the White Sox an F for the offseason?
See, people, all right. First of all, it was one person who gave them an F. It was the White Sox beat guy for the Athletic, James Fegan, who does a really good job as a whole. So it wasn't like every baseball guy at the Athletic conglomerated and came to a consensus that the White Sox have had an F offseason. It was one man's opinion. That said, it hasn't been a good offseason. I mean, they added Benintendi, who's a completely fine player who stays on the field, and he is what he is. You know what you're getting out of him for the most part, and improved there. The defense is vastly improved just by guys being in position. And with what is seemingly a beeline from Oscar Colas to the show, but it's still a complete dog shit. I mean, their starting pitching depth is Davis Martin, who I do really like. He's got balls. He's got good stuff by all advanced and standard metrics. It's just it hasn't been a good offseason. It's I judge it on pass fail. That's how I judge it. So like I don't want to put A, B, C. Yeah, it's a fail.
Right, so it's enough.
Yeah, I would, but I mean, if you want to look at it differently,
and they did though because they're the only team that got an F.
It was one person who gave them that grade.
Okay,
it was the White Sox guy for the Athletic. It wasn't the Athletic as a whole.
So every Athletic beat writer gave each team their personal grade. Mm-hmm.
So it was one man's opinion. I agree with that opinion. I do think it's been a failure of an offseason. An unequivocal failure of an offseason, especially. They haven't addressed anything that, I mean, not that they can legally with Clevenger, but from a roster standpoint, they haven't addressed that because he's an unknown at this point. I would be shocked if he ever throws a pitch for the White Sox. Could be wrong there, but I would be, at this point, be very surprised if he does. But like Walk is still out there, a couple other guys, and they shouldn't be. They need depth, and they're not. I mean, are they tapped out financially? No, I don't think so. I'll never believe that. It's that they don't care to show their chips in the middle.
Any of those other storylines kind of pique your interest? Giolito saying he regrets putting on 20 pounds. Eloy saying he wants to play the outfield.
Yeah, Eloy. All right, Eloy is. First of all, people are saying, "Oh, it's lost in translation." Eloy Jimenez, he speaks completely and totally fluent English. His mom, I want to say, is an English teacher in the Dominican Republic. There was nothing lost in translation. Eloy Jimenez knew what he was saying. He said that he won't accept being the everyday DH. Well, Eloy, sorry, you have to. Like, you don't have a choice. You have to be the DH. I don't mind him saying that.
It's a nice goal.
Yeah, it's a nice goal, but I mean, what is he, 25 now? It's like, dude, shut the fuck up and hit 35 bombs this year and hit 300 and get on base at a 380 clip.
David Ortiz had a nice career being a permanent DH.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Just
go and mash baseballs and don't worry about the outfield. So to me, non-story. They just claimed Alex Alexi. No, don't know anything about him. Luis Robert and Yoel Moncada. Being down in Dominican 2 weeks back, it did change my perspective on this because I saw how much baseball means to these people that, you know, a lot of them, I'm not saying Eloy did, but a lot of them come from nothing and they want to represent their country doing what they love. I'll never fault someone for that in any manner until you get to the White Sox when it's these guys that can't stay fucking healthy playing in this series. It's like, all right, so they're going to get hurt now. Probably, maybe there's a chance of it. I don't know. Versus, you know, hopefully in May that happens, you know. Hopefully the inevitable happens, you know. But
they hit their snag for the
just stay
season.
fucking healthy. Please, God, stay healthy. That's all I ask. Like, on my hands and knees praying to, like, L. Ron Hubbard. Tell the people about L. Ron, Ed.
Yeah, we got a heavy Scientology show today.
I'm praying to, well, Ed's going to pray to L. Ron.
Would you join Scientology for a White Sox World Series?
Without thinking twice. I will join it. Can I just, like, sign up?
There's one. There's a place over on
like
Lincoln.
Clybourne or something.
I think it's on
right?
Lincoln.
Or yeah.
Let's bring him down.
I'm not.
I'll do it, but I don't want to drag you guys into that with me. I like that's me being a nice
You're
guy.
going down that road yourself. Pal.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious.
I'll watch 4 old ladies fucking go to Super Bowl to see Tom Brady and Julian Edelman, but I won't go
to
Scientology with you.
Do you think that they would send him back? Like we drop off Dave and they're like, no, we don't want him. Like how long?
Like a stray dog that
it was
they're like
they turn him
deformed.
back into the shelter. Yeah.
A disobedient stray animal. He's chewing up all the carpet.
Like we'll give you the White Sox World Series, but you have to leave.
Oh, in that case, win-win. Don't have to be a Scientologist and
He's like Santa's
get a
little
World
helper from The
Series.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
He's just a race dog that's like, well, we got no use for this guy.
There is also like there's an episode
We can't
of
break him.
well, there is an episode of The Simpsons where like Homer's he joins a cult. The whole family does.
the stonemasons or whatever.
No,
right?
no, different one. And they're like
the tattoo is on his
no,
head,
different
right?
one. That's like a thing about the Freemasons or the Illuminati. You know, like
yeah.
This is like a different episode where they just like they keep trying all these things to like break him and get him to join the cult, and he's just like impervious to it because
I remember
he
now.
can't focus on what they're saying. Then eventually just try hit him in the head with a baseball bat. They try everything, and I feel like that's where they would get with you. Like they would start you on like the Dianetics.
Yeah,
Dianetics, and then you would just be like, well, I'm looking at box scores and I'm looking at Twitter.
Talk to me about the Dianetics, Ed. What dietetics?
Dianetics, I think.
Dianetics.
Yeah.
I'll go and get brainwashed for content, but I don't want to get brainwashed in real life. So, are they going to do that to me?
They're gonna try.
Dude, just go watch the doc, dude.
Yeah.
You'll go see what they do.
What doc? Talk to
Going clear.
Going Clear on HBO.
I'll watch
Very,
it.
oh, you should watch it. It's awesome.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask fucking Hannah. She's from California.
No, I don't want to talk to Hannah.
That was fucking rude.
That was but yeah, I don't know. They gave the Cubs a B. So if you're saying that's their beat writer, I think that about lines up. Do you agree, disagree?
I think the Cubs are, like, for Cubs fans, I think they're going to have a lot of fun watching this team this year with, like, PCA coming up eventually. Like, they got some guys that are going to be following. Who knows what's actually wrong with his leg, but to me, there was no excuse for not signing Trey Turner or Carlos Correa. It made absolutely no sense to me from the Cubs' perspective. They got all these guys on rookie deals they're not paying shit to. You can get a bona fide superstar, especially with Correa, who I think is fine probably, and especially with the opt-outs and the physical clause in his new contract with the Twins. You're telling me the Cubs wouldn't do that? It doesn't make sense to me. But
so Dansby means nothing to you?
Dansby's a perfectly fine. He's a good player, but he's not the player.
But they paid him
to be the guy.
No, he didn't get $300 million.
He got that's as much they're willing to go.
Right, but
on a free agent,
But
he's the guy right now. That was a mega deal
by the Cubs standards.
By anybody's standards. What was it?
He wasn't commanding what the other big three shortstops got.
He got more than what Correa got.
Well, because Correa had the
'Cause
injuries.
Correa
Yeah.
was.
So
But
Correa
it's-
signed 2 different deals
was
that
a
were
broken
bigger.
toy.
Yeah.
I don't know that he is.
But that's what that's what
I love how
he's I'm just going off of what he's done the last handful of years. They're projecting that he's going to have bad arthritis or whatever the theories are. Maybe, but like even then, it's not manifesting in his legs right now. He's still awesome.
Yeah.
And the Twins gave him, I think it was 6-year 180,
5, but yeah.
or 5, whatever it was for. But they have an opt out if he fails a physical after every year. Tell me the Cubs couldn't do that for $200 million. I don't know. It was all weird to me. But then take him off the table. You got Trey Turner right there, who's electrifying and just completely reeks Chicago Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he reeks like Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Trey Turner. Like he's cut from that same cloth, I think. And I don't know. But as a whole, their offseason was fine. I think Tyon kind of sucks. They paid him too. Bellinger's he is beyond lost. And a little birdie has told me that he was a big time sign steal guy.
allegedly. And that after the Astros got caught with everything they were doing, that he knew that he couldn't do it anymore. And that's when his production didn't just get worse. He's the worst player in baseball now. He's horrible. Like horrifically bad offensively. But I don't know. It's a when-year prove-it deal. Say he goes out and hits 18 bombs in the first half, you deal him and get something in return. I think the Cubs had a fine offseason. I think could have definitely been better. I'd put it at probably a C personally. But the Cubs are going to be, I think, fun for Cubs fans to watch this year.
What does that mean to you? 500?
Yeah, pushing 500. But
with a brighter future.
I'd say a pretty solid future. They got. I don't think they have any superstars in their system personally. I know some people disagree, but they got a ton of depth in their system. So I don't know. Augment rosters with superstars, which I don't think the Cubs did because Dansby Swanson's like 6th, 7th piece on a team, not the piece on the team. But I don't know. Maybe he proves me wrong.
We'll see. And then obviously Dexter Fowler retired.
And he's looking to get into ownership. I was reading.
Isn't he like a big crypto guy?
He might be.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Isn't Dante tight with him?
I feel like Dante's tight with that whole.
Yeah, that whole team.
Yeah.
The 2016 team.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were
anybody on that team.
Yeah.
They're like, what's his
They were never the same after he left. Like they never had the leadoff
he was
guy.
like that.
He was
He
kind
was-
of the linchpin that it was like one of those things where probably like analytics would shit on him. And it's like, yeah, but he's fucking important to that.
He was
team.
like that pinch of whatever ingredient you needed.
Right. And
He was just vital.
he played fine outfield, and then he was like you could rely on him at the top of the order, and then it
Good
felt
power,
like and he was like it seemed like a very well liked guy, like a locker room kind of guy, and it was just like they were never really the same after. They weren't as fun without him.
I wanted the Sox to sign him so bad after that season, and they didn't, and he fell off a cliff after it. So good thing they didn't. Which doesn't mean they shouldn't go after the better free agents moving forward, because he was bad.
Obviously, awesome moment. Leadoff home run.
Yep.
The World Series. When we thought he was gone and he showed back up. That was awesome.
Off of Kluber. No, that wasn't Kluber. That was Ross, right?
Who
With
started?
the home run off of Kluber?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was classic, obviously. That whole team's enshrined.
Yeah.
The whole team is enshrined.
Yep.
Who's like who's the Fowler comparison to the Blackhawks
From that run?
Yeah.
Shaw.
Maybe a little bit of Shaw. I'm trying to think of because I guess none of the guys who won 3 would really be he's not good enough to be in that category. I don't think so. Maybe Shaw. Maybe Dave Boland. Like Boland had obviously the big goal in the 13 seconds.
Yeah.
So maybe
It's a good comparison.
Yeah,
Leadoff
maybe-
home run, 13-second goal.
Yeah, and talented, but always the second, tier guy on that team. Yeah, maybe Dave Boland. I mean, maybe even Seabrook to a degree.
Because Seabrook hit my brain first.
I think it is probably Seabrook because they're always like Anthony Rizzo put the C on his chest, okay,
Yeah.
and that Taves is the captain. Brent Seabrook was the real captain. He was he was a guy when something needed to be said, he said it. He was, and I've told this story. Sorry to repeat a story, Dave, but that day out on the cup party day, where like everybody had like their cliques, you know, like Sharpie brought in his brother, and Kane had like his Buffalo crew, and Shaw had a few guys with him. Like everybody was on the party bus, right? And Seabrook, it was like, I think he was like, he didn't have anybody. And then, but like every group like kind of came over and like paid homage to Siebes. And Siebes just kind of like, he didn't move like the whole night. He just kind of was like, all right, we're going to the next bar. But then he would get to the bar and just sit there. And then just people would just circle through and talk to him. And he's just the fucking man. And I think Fowler has a little bit of that. So maybe, yeah, because Siebes is probably not, I don't know how many All-Star teams he made, maybe 1 or 2. And he's definitely not like a Hall of Famer. But he was like, he was the daddy. He was the big daddy of the team.
Yeah, Siebes might be more David Ross, but he was probably better than Ross.
Yeah, he's a better player.
Like, yeah. But like leadership wise,
yeah,
they're more aligned. But
probably, yeah. And never really got the credit for it either.
That would be a fun segment, though. We should do that one day. The equivalents
for every team.
Yeah. For just like because obviously the two easy ones is Rizzo and Bryant are
Taves and Kane. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that'd be kind of a fun segment.
Bias is kind of like Kaner though too. Like just electric factory.
Yeah. It's kind of Sharpie though.
AJ with Sharpie.
Yeah.
Just a pest.
Yeah. That's a good comp.
Yeah. Who'd you say? Sorry.
AJ
for Shaw.
Yeah.
For Andrew Shaw.
He was such a little shit.
Speaking of the Hawks, obviously Bobby Hall passed away.
Yeah, I think 84 years old. You know, he's got a statue for a reason. You know, it's been like a weird thing because he is a bad human being, but a great player and like very important to the city. So it's like weird trying to find that balance of let's pay respect to this guy who just died. He does have a family. Like I saw his grandson tweeted like his grandson was getting upset about all the media types like rushing to be like, this guy's the worst. And it's like, well, dude, he's still my grandpa and he's been dead for 12 hours. Like maybe give it a week. But now it's been about 72 hours, so we can just say like he's a guy, people can Google it. He has said and done horrible things. Yeah. Horrible things. But the Blackhawks aren't the Blackhawks without him. Won the Stanley Cup 61. He was like the featured he was like the biggest star in the city, in the league. Like Bobby Hull was it for 10 years and kind of made this organization go. It took it like he is on that Mount Rushmore of all-time great Hawks still 70 years later. But yeah, it's a complicated conversation.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But he's electric. The Golden Jet.
And then obviously if like the new guys don't come along and win 3 cups, like
he still is.
He's Mount Rushmore of probably Chicago athletes.
Yeah, I would say he's been passed,
since then.
Yeah, he's probably 4th or 5th on the, it's like him and Makita, which is why they have the statue together. And then it's like the big 3 from the Taves, Kane, Keith. Mm-hmm. But I'd say those 3 are above. But yeah, like he was the guy. And you always talk about that too, like what your parents say about.
Yeah, that's what, you always hear from like my dad and his buddies there. We're like, Chicago Stadium, obviously everyone credits Jordan with that's how the United Center got built was that Bulls dynasty. And then they're like, hey, we're going to build the United Center. They said Jordan was cool at Chicago Stadium, but there was nothing like when Bobby Hull had the puck.
Dude, he's kind of like a myth in a way, Bobby Hull, because it was like the games, probably more people consumed the games via radio when he was playing than TV. And then even if you had TV, it was like hockey in black and white. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like ESPN Classic hockey games. It's tough to watch on that. But like there was like, he was the first guy to really like use like the curved stick. Like that came out of Chicago. Yeah, like that. Like I think it was Makita like accidentally jammed it in the board's door. And then he was like, well, I guess I'll play with this. And he was like, oh, like this is so much easier. Like I can like rifle this puck everywhere. So those guys had like a fucking hook before they legalized how much curve you could have on it. But there's like people who say like they've done like studies and like broken down film where they're like they think his Bobby Hull slap shot was like 120 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah. Like who knows if that's true or not?
Yeah.
But that's what they say. So like the All-Star game's coming up this weekend. I would bet the hardest shot competition now, it would be like 105. And I think Chara got up to like maybe 108, something like that, when he was really top of his game. But to have a guy Hull, and he was scoring a zillion goals, and he has these great clips about how he would say he would come in over the blue line almost like a pitcher, how they would waste a pitch. You know, they throw one high and tight, get a guy off balance. Well, back then, goalies were afraid of the puck because they didn't, you know, they had like a shitty helmet.
Mask, the Jason mask.
The Jason mask, or not even that sometimes. And he would just like, I'm just going to put one past his ear. Like, I don't even care if it goes, like, I'm not trying to score here. I'm trying to score 3 goals later tonight. And he would just like crank it and try to, like, you know, borderline kill people with his slap shot.
I like that.
Yeah. So he's, you know, great player, innovative guy, marketing guy. Scumbag.
Yeah, it makes it tough for sure.
Yeah,
because
it does.
I guess the place would just rumble.
Oh
when he hit the puck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, because it's like every time he touched it might be a goal. Like he was that, like, there's probably no like equivalent, and he was a guy who could skate. Where like if you like Ovechkin's going to be the greatest goal scorer who ever lived, but like he's almost like the people are going to get mad about this analogy, but you know how like when Mike Allstott and Warwick Dunn were on the same team, and Warwick Dunn would take the ball all the way down the field, and then Allstott would run it in from 3 yards.
Yeah,
Ovi's kind of that, where he gets to his spot, and once he's in his spot, he cranks it. He doesn't even really aim it. Like if you talk to Darrells about it, he's like, yeah, I don't think he just shoots it as hard as he can, and he's electric. Like Ovi's the greatest goal scorer, but he's like unbelievable at one thing. Hull could really do everything. He's like an unbelievable skater. I always post that picture of him, like he was like when he's working on the farm. He's like the most jacked guy ever.
Yeah, I saw that.
Pre-steroids, no one lifted weights. He would just bale hay in the summer and come back like a fucking ox. Like he's just a huge jacked guy. Forearms like probably 2 of mine put together. And yeah, like I can imagine like being like, we're gonna see Bobby Hull in person. Fuck, like that must have been a sight in the 60s.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So yeah, I'll be interested. I don't foresee them doing anything this weekend
to honor him.
Yeah.
Well, the timing kind of helps. I'm sure they'll. I'd be interested. I don't think what they've done historically. Like Esposito died a couple years ago. They wore that 35 patch.
Do you think at the All-Star game?
Oh, they'll probably do a moment of silence for him.
Think so?
I think so. Yeah, I think they'll probably do that. The Blackhawks put out a tweet. Danny Wirtz posted to his
NHL
story.
Network did too.
Yeah, so I mean, he's such an icon. That
It's hard, man. It's hard to navigate.
I'm looking at this picture right now, and his wrists are as thick as my fucking quads.
Yeah, like he almost doesn't have wrists.
Bad
No, he does.
dude.
Like
his
it's just
hand
a
just
forearm
goes-
that goes to his hand.
Yeah. So he's interesting, and then it is, like they're off. You know, they're off, but I don't even think the Hawks will wear like a 9 patch. I think they'll do like a little video montage, moment of silence before the next home game,
And that's it.
and that'll be it.
Yeah.
And then we're a month away. Away from the deadline. Kane will not be traded. Taves will not be traded.
Ooh.
Putting that out there.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then the
Is
other,
that scoop or is that
it's a little bit of a scoop.
okay?
It's a little bit of a scoop.
There we go.
I've been told that Kane will like actively block any trades. So it's like
He wants to be here.
he just doesn't. Yeah, he just doesn't want to. I think he'll be on the team next year, and I think Taves will not. I think the team and the organization is kind of ready to move on from Taves, and I think if they get, but I think Kane will. If they get Bedard, I think he'll come back. I also wouldn't rule out DeBrincat coming back because he'll be a free agent, and they have they're gonna baseball. You're like, oh, they give them an F. They didn't spend. There's a salary floor in hockey too, and once that $21 million for Taves and Kane comes off the books, they're gonna have
to spend it.
They're gonna have to spend. So, because the only guy making anything would be Jones, and that's not enough to get up, like nearly enough to be at the cap floor. So you bring back Kane for something, and then I think you got to kind of throw a little bit around this summer. They won't go crazy, but you could be like, hey, we have Bedard. Let's see if we can give DeBrincat 7 years by $8 million offer sheet, and be like, Kane, now you got. And then Reichel comes in. They got Korchinski coming in. Like I don't think the rebuild's going to take that much longer. The athletic there, and part of it is all of their guys that they've drafted in the last couple of years are looking like better than people thought. So it'll be interesting. Like the Athletic does like this running series of like they rank the prospect pools and they do it a day at a time. I think they're up to like number 9. They have not done the Hawks yet. So in August when they did this, they ranked the Hawks 13th. They haven't added anybody since then. It's just that Korchinski looks awesome. Del Mastro looks awesome. Reichel's having a big year again in Rockford, and when he's been called up, he's looking really good. Frankie Nazar. They got like it's starting. Ian Mitchell, he's on the team. He's a good player. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he got traded.
Yeah.
Because they just have so many defensemen, and it's like, where do you put these guys? And then they're going to trade Jake McCabe, I think, and Lafferty. Get a couple more picks and prospects back, and it's like they're still a ways away from the cup. But if you get Bedard, and all these guys are looking like players, then all of a sudden it's starting to be like, okay, maybe 2024, 25, like you're a pretty good team. And the Western Conference is not good. There's too much parity. Like it's kind of like the NFC of hockey, where it's like the Avalanche aren't going to be able to keep everybody because they already lost Kadri, and it's like it's not like there's some like these dominant teams like there are in the East. It could get turned around, somewhat quickly. It'll be young and fun, and they won't be like a cup contender right away, but there's a path for them being good again
soon.
Maybe even as soon as like, because they're not going to be trying to be bad next year. So maybe even next year they're like in that like 10 to 8 range if everything goes well.
All right.
Talk to me about the draft lottery. So the Hawks and the Blue Jackets they have the two fewest. They're the two organizations with the fewest points right now. And then the Ducks and Coyotes are behind them. Is it as I say we? I hate when people do that. But is it? Are the Hawks hell-bent on?
I hate people that hate that.
Having the worst record in hockey, or is it?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do.
Like the absolute worst. It's not like football though, right?
No,
like
it's a lottery.
What's the difference between first and second and third in terms of odds of getting the first pick?
The highest odds you can have is 25%. But the big thing is you can't fall lower than 3 spots. So if you have the best odds, you can't fall further than 4th.
Okay.
And that's kind of where there's a big 4 in terms of prospects. Really a 3 because one of them is Russian and no one knows. Like if there weren't any of these geopolitical issues going on and he has a contract in Russia, he'd probably be the number 2 pick. Let's get Matvei Michkov, which he's a freak. And then it's Fantilli and Carlson's. Like that's the big 4 with Bedard. So you want to be in that top 4. But
so you just keep losing.
Yeah, but it's still, even if you could lose every single game from here on out, and it's still a 1 in 25.
Yeah.
Bettman had a quote being like, "Yeah, we don't tank in this league." Like, bro, like I'm watching a team that's tanking just about every night and put together the worst roster I think I've ever seen. So, but they got to tear it down a little bit more.
On a different note, I saw Joe Cowley reported that Lonzo, his knee is still in pain, and they just don't know why. They went to 6 different doctors.
I mean, it's a familiar nightmare here in the city. That
sucks, man.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Well, do you think that this whole experiment is really? It's like, well, if Lonzo was healthy, that this team would be good.
I don't know. I mean, he's really talented. He's a really good point guard.
Well, it feels like that's when it went off the rails last year. Is when he got hurt. Is when it all, because they were the 1 seed. They were fun. They moved the ball.
Yeah, I don't know what the ceiling is of that in the playoffs because the NBA regular season means nothing anymore. Yeah. Like I hope
you might be able to win a round.
Yeah. Like who knows? Like what the ceiling of it all. But like more time goes on, like the NBA has a real problem on their hands about the regular season. Like it means 0.
Yep.
Like so many people are sitting out. Like ratings are fucking down. Like it means 0.
Well, and that
fucking 20 teams make the playoffs. Like
all right, so that's what I was gonna say. Do you think that going to where they have the 7, 10, 8, 9 matchups in each conference, so you do literally have 20 teams making it? Do you think that is in response to the regular season not mattering? So it's like, let's just get more playoffs in. We'll have more meaningful games. Or do you think it's the reason the regular season doesn't matter is because they expanded the playoff field too much.
I think initially, like, their idea was they would spice it up a little more,
Yeah.
but I think in a sense it may have backfired. I don't really know. All I know is that
You got to find that happy medium.
all I know is that it just does not matter.
Because I think the football expansion works. Like, I love the 7 teams, the extra wild card. You have like,
But it's subtle, you know. Like,
right? Yeah. But this thing with the NBA, it just felt like wake me up when the real playoffs start. Like, I don't want to watch 7 versus 10. Like, I don't even know who it would be.
Yeah.
Like the Bulls, I looked at the standings the other day. Like, they're a game out of 10th. It's like, they're fucking horrible. You don't even want them to make it.
Yeah. It's
So,
NBA's got. I think they got a big problem.
Yeah,
I do.
I think so too.
So
I hope hockey doesn't try this, because
I mean, it's already 16 is a lot.
it's half the league.
Yeah,
That's where
exactly.
I feel like when people were like, "Oh, I thought you said the Hawks were going to be good." I'm like, no. Like, this is like before last year. I said they have a chance to be average. Like, they have a chance to be the 15th best team in the league. Like, which I think they probably did. And I think if they had had a real coach, they probably would have been in that range. But it's like, when we're talking about the rebuild and all that, like, I don't know how high up is, but when I say that the turnaround could happen more quickly, I just mean like having meaningful games this time of year.
In the NFL, like, listen, it's a little less than half, so people might be like, what the fuck are you talking about? 14 is 14 out of 32 versus whatever, but it still matters, I feel.
It does matter. And I also think that it just seems like the who's good is so cyclical, especially on like a division level. Wasn't it like just 3-4 years ago where the NFC East, like the division winner went 6-10? Wasn't that like
I mean, look at the South this year, dude.
or that this year where they went 9-8, right? Or 8-9?
Something like that,
Yeah.
but it was very bad for a lot of the year.
Right. And it's
Like the
like
Panthers were still in it until like the bitter end.
oh, the NFC South too. Yeah.
And they tried to tank.
Yeah.
Like they traded away McCaffrey. And it's like, wait, we
got good
fired
all of
our
a
coach.
sudden.
We traded
Yeah.
McCaffrey. And we're still alive somehow, guys. Like,
Yep.
let's try to. So, like, in a sense, like the NFL adding a week has kind of, people are arguing that too. The NFL has kind of watered down their shit a little bit too. Because.
But I kind of feel like because there's so few games, it makes more sense.
Right.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
It is. In NFL, like, you're just in a better situation because of that. You're right.
Right.
But
And you can justify it more too, because it's like, oh, we got off to a bad start. We started off 0-6, but then we finished 9-8, and it's like, well, so it's just about how you finish, and if you have this unbalanced schedule, which you're always going to have more dramatically in the NFL than other leagues, you almost like it makes more sense to have a wider playoff field.
yeah. But indirectly, it's weird. It's like, why these teams, a team like the Panthers, just thought they were dead by the time they thought they would be dead by the time week 16, 17, and 18 rolled around. So they emptied the fucking chamber. The cupboard was bare. Little did they know they'd be competing. Like, they would have changed their perspective, maybe.
Yeah.
The trajectory, maybe rules there. Maybe they keep McCaffrey. It just changes a lot of outlook on how you look at your team in the league. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. So
I just like having an extra wild card game on Saturday.
yeah, that's nice. But then, I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right. I think that's it. I think we'll have more details to you guys about the new show format and whatnot next week. But it's looking like February 14th, Tuesday, will be the first show. But stay posted next week for more details on that. Also wanted to plug February 14th, the same day, it just so happens, same launch day, we'll be at Barstool River North on Valentine's Day if anyone wants to come out. It's going to be quite the spectacle.
One guy coming out.
Yes. Jeff Nadeau will be coming out. There's going to be something going on. We will release
He's been in his bag a lot.
He's been in his bag a lot. We're going to release details about that event soon as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be funny. There's going to be a contest of some sort. So getting that out there now. Just put it in the tickler file. It's February. A couple things coming out. But, yeah, that's really it. You guys got anything else?
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right. That's the show. See you guys next week.